Welcome to this explainer. Before we jump right in, let's actually do something we literally almost never do anymore. Just take a deep breath. Right now. Let those shoulders drop. We are constantly bombarded by noise, right? The notifications, the endless scrolling, just the sheer exhausting rush of daily life. So for the next few minutes, think of this explainer as your personal sanctuary. We're going to completely step away from all that noise and go on a gentle, guided journey into the really profound stillness of an absolute literary masterpiece. Seriously, I want you to really think about this for a second. When was the absolute last time you sat in complete stillness and just listened to the silence? Like no background music, no podcast playing in your ear, just you and the quiet. For a lot of us, silence has actually gotten kind of uncomfortable, hasn't it? But as we're going to see today, it's inside that exact stillness where we find the most incredible, deep healing for our exhausted spirits. And our spiritual guide for this journey, well, he understood this on a completely different level.
So, let's dive into this. What we're exploring is the timeless wisdom of Min Wahi al-Kalam, which roughly translates to from the inspiration of the pen. It was written by the legendary Mustafa al-Sadiq al-Rafi, who is, without a doubt, one of the most brilliant minds in Arabic literature. And you can just feel the history radiating from a physically weathered, beautiful cover like this. It's not just a book, it's literally a century-old spiritual balm. El-Rafi had this unbelievable gift for taking the absolute heaviest, most complex ideas about human existence and distilling them into prose that speaks directly to your soul. I seriously can't encourage you enough to seek out and read his book, because what we're covering today is really just a tiny glimpse of its massive healing power.
Section 1. Inspiration from the Graves, Finding Life in Stillness. Okay, so to begin healing, we basically have to entirely flip our perspective on life. And paradoxically, El-Rafi does this by asking us to look at death. Now, I know the title, Inspiration of the Graves, might sound kind of dark or even a bit morbid right off the bat, but when you get into the actual Arabic text opening this chapter, El-Rafi completely flips the script. He frames the contemplation of mortality not as this source of fear or dread, but actually as an incredibly powerful grounding tool to achieve immediate mindfulness. It's all about finding true life by finally understanding its limits. In this chapter, he takes us on this incredibly quiet, solitary visit to a graveyard. And he doesn't go there to just weep in despair, not at all. He goes there to strip away all the superficial layers of life. He uses the absolute stillness of the graves to completely drown out the noise of the city and, more importantly, the noise of the ego. There's this one translated quote from the text that really hits the nail on the head. He writes, "I went to visit my dear dead, to live with them in death for an hour, turning away from the world." Just notice the incredible intentionality there. He is deliberately choosing to turn away from the world. By consciously stepping into the realm of the dead for literally just 1 hour, he instantly shifts his whole perspective. Suddenly, all those things that stress us out daily, the tight deadlines, the silly social media arguments, those minor daily inconveniences, they just completely vanish. Contemplating the end of life brings this instant, profound inner peace simply because it totally resets our priorities back to zero. As we move deeper into the text, you can almost see the faint underlines where generations of readers have found deep resonance in his words. Because right here, El-Rafi brilliantly uses the graveyard as a mirror. As he's walking among these silent stones, he just marvels at the absolute tragedy and, honestly, the absurdity of human conflict. He reflects on how bitterly we fight over these worldly possessions. We stress over wealth, status, property, all of which inevitably just turn to ruin anyway. From the unique vantage point of the grave, our frantic daily scrambling for more material wealth suddenly looks, entirely foolish. And this really brings us to El-Rafi's core lesson here. It's a huge contrast. On one side, we've got the noise of worldly disputes, our greed, our pride, all those exhausting, temporary things we just let consume us day in and day out. But then, on the other side, we have the silence of eternity. It's vast, it's unchanging, and honestly, it's ultimately very comforting. When we take our daily anxieties and place them right next to the vastness of eternity, they shrink. They completely lose their power over us. El-Rafi is basically begging us to stop exhausting ourselves for the temporary and to start aligning our minds with what's eternal. So what does this all mean for us right now? Well, what heavy burdens or petty disputes are you carrying around today that time will eventually just erase? I'm going to pause for a second here. Seriously, let that question sink deep into your mind. What are you holding on to so tightly right now that simply won't matter in the silence of eternity? Section 2. The soul's eternal nature. So having totally stripped away the illusions of the physical, material world,
Al-Rafi's journey doesn't actually just end in the graveyard. We now pivot from that fading physical world into this vibrant spiritual realm. And this is where the real soul healing kicks in, as we explore this incredibly comforting concept of the soul's endurance. When you look at the dense, beautiful prose he uses here, you can see the structure is just this passionate, flowing address. He's speaking directly to those resting in the graves, basically bridging the gap between life and the afterlife. He's making the argument that sure, the body might stay in the earth, but the true essence of who we are, our spirit, is completely unbounded by the dirt. He defines the eternal soul as the true, enduring essence of a person that entirely transcends physical decay. And how is it built? It's built through the accumulation of sincere spiritual actions. I don't know about you, but I find that incredibly reassuring. It means that while this material world we constantly obsess over is absolutely guaranteed to fade, our genuine kindness, our love, our sincere spiritual actions, those things are going to echo forever. We aren't just meant to build physical monuments, we're supposed to be building spiritual ones. In some of his final passages on this topic, El-Rafi paints just a breathtaking picture of the soul's eventual return. He absolutely does not view the body returning to the earth as some grand tragedy. Instead, he sees it as a really peaceful, completely natural restoration. It's this beautiful integration with nature's grand design. Think about it. We basically just borrow our physical form from the earth and we peacefully return it, while the spirit is finally freed. It's a massive, profound shift from seeing death as this terrifying thief to seeing it as a gentle, natural release.
Section 3, Healing Your Own Spirit. Okay, now that we've taken this really beautiful, meditative walk through El-Rafi's graveyard reflections, let's shift the focus entirely inward for a minute. How do we actually take this century-old wisdom and use it to heal our own exhausted spirits today? Well, the spiritual benefits of engaging with a work like Min Wahi al-Kalam are just immense. Contemplating these ideas achieves immediate mindfulness. It's like it instantly strips away that toxic ego that's always demanding we be right or always have more. It takes our constantly racing minds and grounds them in eternal truths. And most importantly, it provides deep, lasting healing for an exhausted spirit. Listen, this explainer is truly just scratching the surface. I really cannot encourage you enough to go out, find a copy of Mostafa El-Sadiq Al-Rafi's book, sit in a quiet room, and read his actual words. It is an experience that will absolutely, profoundly change the way you navigate the stresses of your everyday life. As we bring our gentle journey to a close today, I really want to leave you with one final lingering thought. If your actions, your kindness, and your spirit are literally the only things that echo into eternity, what kind of spiritual legacy are you building right now? Thank you so much for taking this time to find a little stillness with me today. Let that question linger, and please take this peace with you as you step back into the noise of the world.